今私は函館に来ています。後ろに見えるのが函館山です。170年ほど昔、1854年、日本に開国を迫ってやってきたペリー提督はここ函館を訪問します。ペリーとその乗組員たちは滞在中にこの海辺で何回か魚類調査を行っています。そしてある時、体長84センチメートルの大きな魚を引き網で捕獲しました。船に乗船していた画家はその魚の絵を克明に描いて母国アメリカに持ち帰ります。そして2年後、魚類学者はその魚を新種として記載しています。これが今絶滅危惧種と呼ばれ、日本最大級の淡水魚としても知られるイトウが、その学名であるパラフーチョペリアイにペリーの名を冠するに至ったいきさつであります。現在イトウは道東道北など十数河川に生息するのみでありますが、ペリー来航の時代にはここ函館周辺の川にも生息していたわけです。それどころか東北地方のいくつかの河川からも標本としてこの魚は採集されています。1世紀ほどの時を経て、イトウがこれほどまでに分布を狭め、数を減らしてしまった原因は何なのでしょうか。この動画を通じてその謎に迫ってみたいと思います。
A river is a waterway that gathers spring snowmelt and rain falling on mountainsides. It flows to lower elevations and empties into the sea at its mouth. Natural rivers, untouched by human hands, never flow in straight lines. They constantly bend left and right. The degree of these bends increases as the gradient flattens, often developing into a topography called meandering. Meandering describes the river's topography when viewed from above. However, examining its cross-section reveals that the river's meandering creates an alternating pattern of shallow, fast-flowing riffles and deep, slow-flowing pools. River fish skillfully utilize this riffle pool structure formed by the river's bends. In spring, as the floodwaters from snowmelt begin to recede, sakhalin taimen, or ito in the Japanese language, migrate upstream from the lower reaches of this river each year to spawn. They lay their eggs exclusively at the head of the riffle, the point where the pool transitions into the riffle. This location is ideal because river water constantly seeps through the gravel deposits on the riverbed, ensuring the eggs receive ample oxygen for respiration. Furthermore, since these riffle heads are formed each time the river alternates between rapids and pools, the environment suitable for ito spawning is most commonly found in rivers with a continuous sequence of riffles and pools. In other words, rivers with repeated bends. For salmonids, the upper reaches of a river serve not only as a spawning ground, but also as the place where juveniles feed and grow. The presence of riffles and pools is essential for them to feed efficiently without expending excessive energy fighting the current. We mentioned that ito spawn at the head of riffles. However, the most efficient location for ito, as well as juvenile masu salmon and white-spotted char, to capture aquatic insects drifting downstream from the riffles will be at the head of pools. Larger bodied char and agile masu stake out this prime location, waiting for prey drifting downstream. Compared to the rapids, the slower current here means they expend little energy foraging for food. Deep within the pool, a larger Ito lays concealed in the nearly stagnant water. Further downstream, the water shallows again, and the current quickens, but the drifting prey becomes scarce. Here, at the pool's tail, small fish wait for prey. They are young Ito, born just 1 year ago. Within a single pool, by dividing the habitat like this, from the head to the tail, every fish manages to get its share of food. For river fish, the riffles are the food production zone, while the pools are the consumption zone. And the crucial thing that is the driving force that creates this riffle pool structure is the river's meandering. In 1898, a major flood in the lower reaches of the Ishikari River claimed many lives and caused extensive damage to homes and farmland. This event triggered the start of a river straightening project. This project reduced the total length of the Ishikari River by 60 kilometers, or 37 miles. Similar projects were subsequently implemented on various rivers, large and small, beyond the Ishikari. Meandering rivers gradually disappeared from Hokkaido, replaced by an increasing number of straightened waterways. Floodwaters were now rapidly drained into the sea, and the cleared drainage basin allowed the development of farmland, even in wetlands previously unsuitable for cultivation. The straightened rivers lost their rapids and pools, significantly degrading the habitat of the fish living there. Furthermore, straightening the rivers brought a fatal change to the river environment, one incompatible with the life cycles of all creatures migrating between river and sea. The distance between 2 points along a meandering river is greatly shortened by straightening. Viewed in cross-section, this means the river gradient becomes steeper. Consequently, the river flow accelerates, increasing the risk of flooding and sediment-related disasters. Structures, aptly called drop structures, installed at nearly regular intervals along these straightened rivers, serve to moderate the river gradient. Though far smaller than dams, these structures prevent sea-run Ito migrating upstream to spawn from proceeding further, preventing them from reaching spawning grounds. This makes reproduction functionally impossible. This is the typical process by which straightening drives species like Ito, salmon, and trout to regional extinction. Records indicate Ito once inhabited at least 48 rivers in Hokkaido. However, only about 12 of these rivers are now confirmed to support breeding populations. This means the species is considered extinct in 36 of those 48 rivers. So what exactly determined this difference between survival and extinction for the Ito? After examining various environmental factors, it was found that the decisive factor was the average annual temperature of the river basin. Ito became extinct in all rivers where the average annual temperature exceeded 5.2 degrees Celsius or 41.4 degrees Fahrenheit, while all rivers where the species survived had temperatures below 5.2 degrees. What does this temperature signify? In reality, northern Japan, including Hokkaido, has rarely developed large-scale farmland in the cold regions where the average annual temperature falls below that 5.2 degrees. Because these areas were not converted to farmland and human populations did not increase around them, deep forests remained intact. River courses were not straightened, and the rivers were not fragmented by drop structures, thus preserving their continuity. In comparison, humans in warmer regions, where the average annual temperature exceeded this 5.2 degrees threshold, cut down these forests to make room for fields, pastures, and other agricultural lands. Because of this, the Ito survived in the colder regions of Hokkaido, while becoming extinct in the warmer areas.
いかがでしたでしょうか。地球は今急速に温暖化しています。北海道の北部でも異常気象による熱波が到来してイトウが大量に死亡するという痛ましい事件が何年か前には起きています。温暖化対策として注目される再生可能エネルギー、その一つである風力発電の開発が北海道でも進められています。しかし皮肉なことにイトウに残された最後の聖域である宗谷丘陵にイトウの産卵河川流域の豊かな森を切り開いて数多くの風車が建設されようとしています。私たちの生活に必要なエネルギーを化石燃料に頼らずに作り出すこと、あるいは洪水の被害から人々の命や財産を守ること、そして農地を切り開いて食料を確保すること、これらはもちろんいずれも大切なことだと思います。しかしその一方でイトウのような絶滅の危機に瀕する生き物がこれまで通り子孫を残すことのできる環境を未来に引き継いでいくこと、これも同じように大切なことだと思います。これらいくつかの課題をバランスよく両立させていくために私たちはできる限りの知恵を絞っていかなければならないのではないでしょうか。